And so we are back, guys. We're back after a 2 week break with the good and glorious Dark Gathering. And we are at chapter 38. So if you guys go back to chapter 37, they were dealing with Adam's ghost, which was pretty powerful until they used transactional ghosts to defeat Adam. And basically the whole point where we saw where transitional had the ability to apply so much pressure once they applied his curse, and that was enough to defeat Adam. On top of it tried to manipulate Keitaro, but after getting sucker punched by his girlfriend and everything to knock him out, they were able to defeat Adam, exercise it. And within this chapter, they basically have it once they were able to defeat and everything. Adam was actually very scary, mind you. Very, very scary, mind you. They just got into Kyoto and they immediately dealt with a A-level ghost, an A-level curse, A rank, A-level. Like, think about it. I'm here trying to save Ai and everything because that was the whole point of their trip. And then they said, you know what? We're not even going to get no rest. Immediately to the first site. Like, dang, can I take in some of the sites around me a little bit? I've never been to Kyoto before. Nah, we immediately, one that likes handsome men and the women can be cast aside if you're not a good looking man. Oh, no, you're definitely suffering and everything. So within this chapter, they eventually were able to defeat, and then now they're starting to rescue all of the unfortunate souls that were trapped there for years. Okay, Shitan managed to wake up and everything. They were able to revive him, so he's also okay as well. And they got any of the souls that were in the pit to bring them up. And of course, there was like some little ritual rite of passage for them to actually pass on. Some of the souls were crying because they're finally relieved. And it's a little sad moment if you see in the chapter, because it's just like, think about it. You've been captured and you've been tortured for how long, to the point that your physical body withered away and nothing is left but its skeleton. Okay, and you see yourself being, one, you're trapped, you get your kiss and suck the energy, the life out of you, poured back and then poured back in just for the game of this ghost. Okay, yeah, that's torture right there. So now these poor souls are able to pass on. So once they were able to leave, they're talking to Shitan and Mitan, just making sure that they're okay and everything, because remember, he just woke up. He was in the same position as Keitaro and all of that stuff. So they decide to get on the motorcycle and drive away. Will we ever see this couple again? Well, then again, they're going to be in Kyoto for a while, so I do hope they see them again. And they do seem like they could be potential friends, but should we put them in the same situations again? No. We don't want a repeat of this with them again. So they go off and everything, and then they go, walk a little further and everything. They find a little shrine that used to have a statue, but the statue was broken. Okay, they're going to use that shrine to enshrine the graduate, and the graduate that they're using to put there to basically, because remember, they said they had to, at certain points, they have to put certain graduates or very strong ghosts that's in their army in order to trap Ai's god, right? So by the description, they're saying that originally in the shrine it used to be a guardian deity that will protect that place. So there's a lot of energy in that particular spot that covers the area. So they decided to remember the traps that Keitaro made with the black rope and the white rope and everything, to anytime they have to deal with the ghosts or anything within particular spots. And if they can release it remotely, they can release the graduates all simultaneously at the same time. So Yayoi decided to put transitional there, right? And transitional, and I'm like, at first I was like, you want to put transitional? We had transitional for quite a while. You want to put him there? But then again, I think it would be best fit because again, his curse is heavy mass to keep you in place. So it makes sense, right? But then when it further into the chapter, as I'm going to explain, we have a moment of reprieve where after everything they had to, like, calm down and all that stuff, because this was a lot. As soon as they reached Kyoto, they had to deal with a level, A rank ghost off the bat. So it's a lot. So while they're driving to go find somewhere to go relax, we see where Keitaro is just, this dude is scared. Like, it every time they go through something like this, you always see like the aftermath hitting Keitaro the most. It doesn't even hit Eiko or Yayoi like that, but with Keitaro, think about everything that has happened to him, from him being cursed, him and Eiko being cursed, to him being a shut-in, him being scared. He's always been attracting ghosts and all that. And to go through that particular situation with Adam's ghost, like, it's understandable. This guy has been through it. He's shaking, he's scared and everything. So they decide, you know what? Let's go to an onsen, go soak up and everything. Just try to take off the tension off our shoulders, relax our minds and everything, because this was a lot. I wanted to see some shrines. I didn't want to deal with this, but you know what? To protect our friend, I'm gonna put myself in some sticky, audacious, ominous situations for the sake of a friend. This is feeling like courage. The things I do for love. Okay, the things I do for love. That's courage. Okay, courage the cowardly dog. Imagine if they were dealing with Return the Slap. If I heard that, bro, I'm slamming the door. Everybody stay outside. Whoever took the slap, I'm throwing that and you outside. Like, imagine if they were dealing. Do they ever deal with something like that, akin to something like that in this series? I just have to ask. Like, don't fully spoil me, but if they did something similar to that, that would be actually hilarious. Okay, I wouldn't know because I'm not that far up with the series as of yet. Okay, but other than that, they're talking with each other. We're seeing from Eiko and Yayoi. They're in the onsen, taking a bath and everything, and they're talking about, like, wondering, how Keitaro is feeling, how everything is affecting him and all that stuff. And then they start talking about Ai. Okay, so this is the first mention of her in quite a while. If you're coming from the anime and now you're starting to read the manga, this is the first mention of her for a short bit since then. So they're talking about, like, her being in the hospital. She's been in the hospital for quite a minute after the whole train derailment incident that Ai's God did to face off Spectra of Death. So she's been in the hospital. As we all know, with Ai, ever since she's been chosen by the god and everything, she couldn't be with her family. Her family sent her to live by herself, and the only person that was really checking up on her, caring for her, was her brother, until Ai's God took him out because he doesn't want anyone around her. Hence all the misfortunes in her life. So there we have where Yayoi is explaining, saying that, it's been she's been in the hospital for an abnormal long time for a little scratch that she received on her neck from the train incident, right? And also the fact that, she's been chased out of her parents' home. Obviously the misfortune that's not of her own, okay? Her family, her parents don't want to bring her back. And you know what? In a way, it sucks. It sucks, but at the same time, it's understandable. If all you bring is misfortune, all you bring about is a bad omen, I don't want to be near you because I could be the next person. Remember, also, I think it was in her dream or something of that sort, she saw her aunt. So I think her aunt was in the same position as her at one point, and she's next in the family. And this may be trickling, and I could be wrong, and I'm probably not, probably I am. But I think the women in the family get chosen as a sacrifice, bro. There's something in the family that they're not telling to Ai. And this is where Yayoi is, I believe she was trying to allude, because there's something in the family. I think it has to be with the women. They're chosen as sacrifices for Ai's God for whatever reason. Might I add, she also explained in the chapter, that they tried to go to her house so they can get like more information about like, I and this whole situation of everything that's going on, but they've been refused, right? So that means her family is quite influential, or they have some type of money, right? And she even says that there has to be connection between her family and the god. Hence why I'm going with, and I think they did explain that in the anime if I remember. And remember, it's been a minute since I've watched the anime and all of that stuff. But I think it has to trickle from like someone is a sacrifice, and it's mainly women in her family. So there had to be a deal that was made, okay? And with that deal being made, I would say that how you say, there was some deal with the god, right? Hence why they can't get rid of her or anything of that sort. We don't know exactly, unless you read the manga already, you probably already know, but we don't know currently right now, for us who are just starting to read the manga and everything. We don't know what it is, but they do have a reason why they have her under her control but keep her afar, right? So something is very sketchy going on with Ai's family that we have not gotten any information whatsoever. But Yayoi is saying that, like, for them to listen to us, hence this whole plan to rescue Ai, destroy, execute the god. And she's saying that, in order for the family to come listen to us and let us into the home to start questioning them, if we could bring the god's head, they have no choice but to let us in and just like, let's get down to the bottom of this. Let's start asking questions. Why was this happening to Ai? Why did you guys kick her out? So on and so forth, which, it's their friend. So they want to know, why is this happening particularly to her? And like I said, my assumption is that like, there was a deal made with the god for a long time, and the women in her family are probably the sacrifices, okay? So I could be totally wrong, but if that is the case, then her family's messed up for that. And I guess her brother was trying so hard to protect her despite that, because he actually cared for her, right? So with that being said, we do have where Yoi is asking Eiko to, go check up on Keitaro. Makes sense. That's her boyfriend now. Just to make sure that he's okay mentally wise. Because again, this was a lot, right? So they do have a moment where they're in the lobby and, they're talking with each other. He's thanking her for protecting him and rescuing him, because if not, then he would have died in that cave, and the whole mission would have went up in flames and everything. Also, they talked about the fact that like she had to revive him through CPR. It wouldn't be really a kiss, but it was more like life and death type thing. But they're a new couple, despite being childhood best friends and everything. They are a recently new couple. So we do have it where Keitaro, again, he's like, it just really sucks for Keitaro, bro. Like, for a guy that attracts ghosts and everything, and to be constantly put into these situations, and then he also at the end of the day still blames himself for being cursed and then getting Eiko cursed and everything. So you could just imagine his mental constitution is just like so messed up. But regardless of how terrified he is of these multiple situations, he still goes forward. Why? Because he cares about those he's around. He cares about Eiko, he cares about Yayoi, and now he cares about Ai. But we can't, dispute the fact that his life has been on the line multiple times compared to all the others. Like, only in recent episodes that we see Eiko, her life was about to be deleted real quick, but Keitaro has been suffering the most, bro. He's been suffering the most. So I do like the fact that we see this moment between these two, because we don't really have a lot of moments between Eiko and Keitaro where they can just talk out their feelings, how they're feeling about everything that has transpired, and how they're like, it's okay. Don't force yourself. You care enough. It's not your fault, right? And they're talking about, like, I'll always be by your side. We even have a Keitaro just like, you know what? You've always been there through thick and thin for me. You've been putting yourself on the line. You show me how much you care and love for me, and I promise you I'll get stronger in order to protect you. It almost seemed like a proposal in a way, but we're not quite there yet. And I think that's where Eiko is trying to lead to. Our favorite yandere girl, she's trying to lead to that, but her feelings are sincere, even though she's a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs at times. But regardless of that fact, we do have where now, after this, Yoyoi is by herself, and she's thinking about everything that's happened from Adam to I being in the hospital, right? Then she starts to, and it was kind of confusing in a way because it's talking about like her graduates. So far as we know, she has Oron, she has Sugimoto, she has the priest, and she has, I guess you can say, Transactional is a graduate as well. She does have the face ripper ghost, that's a graduate. She has him, and she has 2 more, right? Because I just named 5 of them, and 5 of them was already introduced into the anime. So she's talking about like her graduates, right? So they have the panel where, like, in the panel, she's realizing, collecting all the information and putting together. She's like, a slight error was made in judgment concerning our forces, right? So she notes here that she's been collecting and raising graduates for the past 2 years, and that goes back to what happened with the whole incident with her mom and all that stuff, hence why she's doing all of this at the end of the day. So she has certain classes for the graduates. She starts with class 0, and then class 1, class 2. Sugimoto was the only one that skipped a grade because he was already, I guess, a graduate by the time she got him. Then you have class 3, which is a special case, and then class 4. By looking on those panels, 2 of those graduates I do not recognize at all. There's one that looks like he's in a samurai armor, and he has a mustache, a very prominent mustache. Okay, I'm saying like Vegeta from GT. And then there's another one that looks like a priest because he has a staff, But we have not been introduced of. I don't know if they showed in the opening all the graduates or only 5 of them, because 5 of them was introduced in the anime. The rest, obviously, only if there's a season 2 we'll see the remaining graduates. But yeah, I see Oron, I see the priest, I see Sugimoto, the martyr, but the other 2 are very, very new. Okay, and High Priest is class 4, right? Who is also, she had to get multiple Jesus statues, destroy them, and that's how she got the High Priest and all that stuff. Oh, my back. And she's thinking about releasing Jizo, the High Priest, but it's actually really confusing because, like, she starts from 2 years ago, and then she has all these graduates, but the way she's talking about it is like she can't, the decision that she made with Transactional, like putting him there, and also she's losing forces. So as they continue on this journey of going to the other spots in Kyoto, at least the 5 main spots, or yeah, the other remaining spots other than Adam, right? The forces are going to be dwindling because remember, they do have to put them at certain points, okay, in order to cause like an enshrine to trap Ice God, basically a cloak, okay, over him by placing them there and also acting as offense and defense. So the more she's using like high class or even graduates, the numbers of her army is dwindling. So she has to pick and choose essentially what she's going to do from here on out, so that like when it does come time, because on top of Ice God, they still do have to deal with the body snatchers, and they don't know nothing about them going to Kyoto as well. So she's trying to weigh the odds of what's the next move, what's the next proper move to do in terms of moving forward, because the more stronger it goes, because they're going to go to, by the time she's thinking about all of this and they're talking with each other, they all are eating dinner and all that stuff, they're talking about where the next place to go and place another graduate to ensure for, you know, for the protection and all that stuff. So they're driving and they end up by this shrine, right? But overall, again, she's telling them, you know, by doing so, we can lose our forces. We can lose our forces because they did not bring a lot. They mainly brought the most strongest with them, and at the same time, they still have to have them at hand. So it's a tricky situation if you think about it. It's actually pretty tricky because just like, yeah, we brought the graduates and we brought some that aren't graduates as well, but like, this is a god. This is a god, and what they explain later in the chapter, once they go to this shrine called Kubizuka Daimojin Shrine, okay? And from the description of the place is Minamoto no Yorimitsu cut off the head of Shuten Doji, which I guess is real people in real Japanese history, I believe. Then brought the head back to Kyoto. At Onozaka, he was warned, do not bring unclean things into Kyoto, where the head of the Oni chief Shuten Doji is buried. So it said that it was buried here. Eventually, Shuten Doji repented and promised to help those who were sick above the neck. So anybody that had any, like, you know, ailments in their neck, they were healed by crossing over there. In terms of the scary, spooky ghost stories, it is known as the strongest den of vice in Kyoto, and it's rumored that if you pass under basically the torii or the bridges that's going straight to the shrine, they say even people with the weakest constitution to feel spiritual pressure can feel how ominous the place is, right? So eventually you do get cursed. So that's where the scary stories end. You go there and then you're cursed, right? So usually we know that Keitaro, who has an affinity for feeling the presence of how strong a ghost is, he decides to cross through the bridge, basically cross under the torii, and he felt nothing, right? That should have been a warning sign to all of us. Like, my guy doesn't really feel nothing that much. Okay, so this place seems safe. The good part about it is that if you felt a little creak in your neck, you're good, you're healed. Nah, they were cursed. They were cursed. So they decided to go to the shrine and then place the face stealer there. Okay, she says the bad boy gets it. So they put the face stealer there, cover her up and everything. Of course, remember at the end of the day, when they unleash them to face with Eye God, whenever that happens, that's the whole point. So as they're going back to, you know, go find another location to go put another graduate or so there, while they're passing by, they're driving. Eiko is driving. They pass by this house. Mind you, they did not feel no evil presence or nothing. And these are people, particularly Yayoi and Keitaro, has a high affinity for feeling these things, right? Felt nothing. That should have been already a warning sign right then and there. You can't stay ready so you don't have to get ready. They're passing by one of these houses, and as they're passing by, the panel got scary as hell. The panel went from a regular house to seeing someone. The house looks destroyed, and then you see some creepy girl by the window, and you're just like, she looking out the car window saying, what the hell is going on? She thinking it's her imagination. Then we have with Keitaro, he's getting a little tired because again, it's been a long day and everything. He dozes off real quick. He shuts his eye. Then you'll see that image, and you know what, I'm gonna try to refrain from showing that image because I don't know what YouTube would say, but it's type scary, bro. It's type scary. He wakes up and then he gets scared, right? Then he closes his eye. Then there was another figure, and it shows Eiko, who's, well, from their description, she's wearing red. Okay, she's wearing like a red top, and that was it, right? And then he's wondering what's going on. what phenomenon is going on. Okay, that tells you whatever ghost was at that shrine is attached to them. So my guess is it's going to give them illusionary attacks, so they won't be able to differentiate between reality and the supernatural. Because if Yayoi, who has her eyes, remember her eyes are special, she's able to see between reality and the supernatural world and everything. But the fact that she's thinking she's seeing things, and then Keitaro, every time he shuts his eye, he's seeing this ghost who is now portraying itself as someone he cares about, aka Eiko. I'm going to think this type of curse affects one's mind. So it's not in the sense like Adam where you use an actual parasite, but I think it affects one's in terms of their subconscious or their consciousness. And it's going to be very hard to rid of this curse, because it's like it's affecting them psychologically. Okay, they won't be able to differentiate between what's real and what's fake. And if that is the case, they're screwed. They're screwed, because just how do you deal with something that's affecting you either consciously or subconsciously? How do you fight that? You know? So it's going to be interesting coming to see next chapter. Guys, you tell me how you felt about chapter 38 of Dark Gathering. If you guys want to go more into the explanation of, like, in terms of the graduates, and when Yayoi started them from, especially class 0, I don't even know what class 0 is. I guess class 0 was the prototype, if I'm wrong, because it's 0. And then she kept making more graduates, but at the same time she brought the graduates, and I know she brought I believe she brought Castle H with her, but at the same time, again, this is going to weigh on her and everyone, because they need very powerful ghosts to deal with Ice God. And I know they have where they can release them simultaneously to start attacking and create the cloak and everything, the veil and all that stuff to trap. But if they keep dwindling their numbers by using the most strongest to place at certain spots, I don't know how it's going to work out when it comes to the day of when they do challenge Ice God. I don't know how that's going to entirely work out in their favor. They may have something up their sleeve. I don't know. I haven't reached that part into the manga as of yet. The links are in the description box, so you guys go check that out. And I'm Kimmy-chan, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!